Wow. Long time no see. Long time no see. Thanks for everybody who came over from No Thanks Investigates. Appreciate that as always. Arkansas's hitting the super stickers fast and early. Appreciate you. Thank you very much. You know, it's weird because I was having the show earlier and everything was going well, like things do. Good show, feeling it. We're doing well. We're learning. We're sharing. We're caring. We're doing all these things, and then ring, 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 ring. Josh, my battery's dead. And then I said, well, what am I going to do? What am I going to do about it? Yes, my sister is okay. It was just her battery was dead. That's it. But what are you going to do? I mean, you kind of got to stop what you're doing. And I had more planned. We were going to talk a little bit about narcissism because I've been hearing that word just thrown around. Everybody's a narcissist, and that may be true that like there's a lot of narcissism. Get her triple, get her new friggin', I get her something. Robin. I watch often, comment little. Appreciate you and thank you for appreciate that. Thank you very much. Very, very sweet of you guys. Thank you. Large police presence. Anyone know what's going on? I have no idea, but keep me in the loop. Let me know. Now, let's talk. Yeah, I get it. But it takes a long time for a tow truck to come and da 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 da. And it is what it is. Laura thank you very much. That is very generous and nice of you. Thank you guys very much. Arkansas is going hard again. You guys are awesome. 2 more babies in Hoskins County, Kingsport. Terrible stuff, man. That's really, really terrible stuff. Now, if we get let's see, if we get an Amber Alert, I will throw it up. What's she need AAA for? She's got me. What does she need AAA for? Somebody tell me what she needs AAA for. Exactly. She doesn't need that. Wasn't able to fix it, but I was able to get her to a place where we could fix it. She's all good now. But appreciate you guys wondering about her. She's fantastic. She's doing great. Thank you. And sorry I had to cut off before we were finished. I had a kind of a closing, and we can talk about this now, and hopefully we learn something here. And I wanted to talk about, when we're dealing with everybody, I get requests all the time. People tell me, and I appreciate that, people um, think highly of me enough to say, you should sit down with Dawn and Candace. Thank you, Aubrey. You should do an interview with them. Blah, blah, blah. And it's very flattering. It's very flattering. Okay. But I'm not some trained professional where I can do something like that. And here's the problem. Okay. So everybody says, hey, you're dealing with a narcissist. You're dealing with a narcissist. You're dealing with a narcissist. That is true. But narcissism isn't a one size fits all. Okay. But I can't get the answer. Here's the thing. I can't get the answers. All right. I can't. But check this out. When people say this person's a narcissist, it's almost just like an insult, right? Like it's not a good thing to be a narcissist, right? It's a bad thing. It's not flattering for somebody to call you a narcissist. But you have to really, really know what we're talking about when it comes to narcissism. Okay. Now, where narcissism comes from, the word narcissism, it's Greek mythology, which is where most everything comes from. Okay. There was this man named Narcissus. That was his name, Narcissus, who he wandered the world looking for love. And what happens is Narcissus finds this nymph woman, as they call her. Her name was Echo. He rejects Echo for whatever reason. And then he sees himself in a river. He sees his own reflection, and he's a good looking man. And he falls in love with himself. And then he drowns in the river due to his own self-love. Okay. Now, Narcissus it basically is a cautionary tale. All right. That's what it is. And when he went looking for love and he didn't find it. He found himself. He fell in love with himself. So that's where the whole narcissism idea starts from. Okay. And not everybody is a diagnosed narcissist, but you can have narcissistic tendencies. Well, are we dealing with an actual narcissist? Now, I'm not a clinical physician. I can't diagnose somebody that has a narcissistic personality disorder. That is a disorder. I can't diagnose anybody with that. It has to be a physician, and you have to be an adult to be even diagnosed with it, because children can't be diagnosed as narcissists. Why? Well, because children are self-centered and they keep growing and growing. Narcissism takes some time to develop. It takes, a little bit of time to show itself. Now, if in fact, or in the actual, with actual respect to narcissism, there are two different kinds of narcissism that wouldn't portray a personality disorder. Dawn Wells fits one of these narcissistic tendencies. That's true. And what is an actual narcissist? Well, the definition of it is somebody with an inflated, grandiose, self-image. They just think they're better looking. They think that they're smarter. They're this, they're that, they're that. When in fact, there are two different kinds of narcissism. Here is the first one, grandiose. And that's somebody who is just has this idea. Um, yeah, that's true. I do the no. Unbelievable. You know, so you have typically like musicians and politicians would have some sort of that kind of narcissistic behavior. That doesn't mean that they're a narcissist because they do that, but they could have those tendencies. Okay. And then there's this thing that most people don't really talk about. Does anybody else know the other kind of narcissistic, the other narcissistic type? It's called vulnerable. It's a vulnerable. There's vulnerable narcissists, and that is where Dawn falls in. They're more introverted. They're just kind of quiet. They keep to themselves, but if they feel that they've been wronged or their status has been questioned, there's hell to pay. And these kind of people think that the world's going fine while everyone around them is suffering from the kind of stuff that they do. Now, narcissism fits a lot of different people, but that doesn't mean that you have narcissistic personality disorder. That's the extreme version of it. Okay. So if you want to call somebody a narcissist, okay, well, everybody's going to kind of fit into there in some way, shape, or form, right? And so, you know, there are issues when it comes to that kind of a narcissist. The kind of narcissism that Dawn Wells displays is that of the vulnerable. And what he does is he pawns his problems off. Nothing's ever his fault. Do you really think that this guy or his wife would ever tell me or anybody else openly and without being forced to what they did? I don't believe so. Their behavior is that of survival. They were very comfortable in their little tucked in cocoon. They are like, I don't know how else to explain it, but besides survivalists, that's what they are. They are survivalists, and that is how they survive, by this kind of behavior. Okay. So when you have that kind of personality, professional victim, as I would call him, because when it comes to taking self inventory, the numbers just don't add up. The numbers just don't add up. You want to call it narcissism, you want to call it morally bankrupt, you want to call it being a liar, a bad dad, a bad husband. You can wrap all that up into one big burrito. Professional victim. That's what we're dealing with. It's about him. It's about him. It's not about Summer anymore. Summer's an afterthought. His goal is to continue with his life post Summer because he knows Summer isn't coming home. I'm telling you right now, his view is of him wanting to survive this while being free. And so he's going to do whatever he can. And if that includes throwing Candace under the bus out in front of their house, I never thought I'd say that, then he will. And he has. And he's also thrown his kids under the bus. Call it what you want. It's despicable behavior. Nothing is his fault. He's been to jail numerous times. None of it was his fault. Oh, I mean, he did say, you know what, I was drinking and driving, but you ain't got nobody to blame that on. I mean, some people tried to blame Doug and I for it. And I can guarantee you that Dawn and Candace right now, they're in cahoots. And when I say they're in cahoots, I really am showing you that my family is from Oklahoma. But they're in cahoots. They're going to try and ride this out. They're going to try and ride this out. And maybe, just maybe, the police can never tie them to this. That's what's important to them at this moment. They're looking beyond Summer. They have moved past Summer, and now they're on a tour of self-preservation. It's not about Summer anymore. I'll tell you what it's about. Deflection, blaming. Let's move on. Summer's not here and I'm being attacked. Summer's not here and I'm the one that's got it, and I'm the one taking crap for this, guys. I'm the one that's taking crap for this. When I've only done nothing but love and cherish and protect my daughter. But we all know that's not really true. I'm not saying I'm not saying they don't love their daughter. I would never say that. I would never say that they didn't. I don't know. I don't know their heart. You can love your daughter. I'm sure Summer loved them. She just didn't know any better. And the fact of the matter is there's an excuse for everything. The other day, people were talking about that mattress. Well, what happened was Jody Dew spilt a soda pop and da 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 da. It's a very detailed, calculated, thought out answer. And when he reaches his peak, when he can't take any more of the bashing, he becomes the Incredible Hulk. And he's just holding it and he's just holding it and he's just holding it in. And then all of a sudden it's like, how dare you call me this or that? You don't know me. Don't talk to me like that. Blah, blah, blah. Blah, blah. He gets fed up with us telling him, well, it's his fault. It's his fault directly or indirectly that Summer Wells is missing. I don't know which one it is, but the fact is he lived a terrible lifestyle. He put his children in danger. He always puts his children in danger. He puts them second. He talks to them horribly. But he wants you to think that he's a good father. Far be it from me to say what a good father is, but I know what a bad father is because I had one. And I'm not saying that Don Wells is on the level of my dad, but it's close. And especially when and by the way, when is the word we find out what happened to Summer. If he's involved, they can share a podium. I mean, that rant about him not knowing his daughter's birthday infuriated him so bad because how dare you insinuate that you know me just because I don't know my daughter's birthday? Just because I don't know my daughter's birthday? How dare you question? I go to work every day and I work my bleep and da 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 da. And then when he gets a little bit of weakness out of somebody, all of a sudden, well, okay. All right. Well, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. It is this winding maze of insanity. It is nothing. It is nothing short of selfishness, of self-preservation. And damn anybody that gets in the way of my freedom. If you've noticed anything, it's that everybody that's ever had one bad thing to say about said person, they're all liars and they're all making it up. But there's one common denominator. Who's the common denominator? It just so happens that this man's life attracts disaster. It just does. But it's not like it's not one event in his life. It's not two events. It's not three. It's over and over and over and over and over. There's no limit to his selfishness. The relationship, and I'm not here to analyze the relationship between Dawn and Candace. It's not my job. And I'm not really that qualified to do it, but I will tell you that it's not a good relationship. And anybody could tell you that. They would tell you that. It's not hard. It's not a stumper. But kind of the way that they treat everybody else, you don't think that Summer felt any of that? You don't think Summer felt any of that? Of course. You don't think that she felt any of that absolute wrath? That psychotic behavior And by the way, this behavior, I don't want to talk bad about any kids, and I'm not, but I can tell you one thing: behavior is learned. And I can't imagine that they've given a very good the fact is, like, it's beyond words, really. The fact is that they didn't show their kids proper etiquette. That's okay. You don't have to. I mean, I get it. I get it. Not everybody is, refined and, fork and blah, blah, blah here. Right. So, but if you see somebody who yells all the time and screams all the time, and that is imprinted on the front of your head as a young child, what do you think your reaction is going to be? So your little baby's over here pulling on stuff and you go, no, stop. No, stop it. And as a baby, they're going to go, "Ugh." You'll get their attention. But guess what? Once that baby develops a little bit more, that yell is coming right back at you. What do you do? Why do you don't talk to me that way? Then you just got a mess. Then you got a mess. You have an absolute mess. You don't just have one. This is your form of communication now. Yelling and screaming. Threatening. That is what they're dealing with, okay? So then there's the hierarchy, quote unquote hierarchy in the house is not fit to take care of themselves, but you have two people up on top, and then you have the four children underneath. And do you think that those bad habits and the way that they act and yell and cuss and scream doesn't trickle down to children? Of course it does. Of course it does. And then so basically all you have is chaos. And chaos follows one specific person in all of this story. One specific. Candace has her own issues. Don't get me wrong. But there's one person that this directly involves. So we have this perfect storm brewing. We have a vulnerable narcissist who has addiction problems, wife or whatever. I don't know. I don't even know if they're married or not, nor do I care. But you have two vulnerable narcissists. That's what you have here. Okay. Two of them. And you have damaged children because they haven't been properly cared for. And I can say that with almost 100% certainty because they're not in they're not in the care of the folks. There's a reason that they don't have these other three. And no, it's not because it was dangerous because of other people. It was dangerous because of them. But you have this perfect storm of 4 kids, poor living conditions, terrible folks who have their own addictions. Um, that was a perfect storm, but is it really? We have nothing more than we did several months ago. But don't though? Because several months ago, we didn't know several things, um, including now. I mean, we at first we didn't. Nobody knew anything about this trail of destruction that Dawn had left in a previous life. Okay, and then on top of that, we now have conflicting reports. Did she walk away? Was she last seen walking away? It is a perfect storm of this. This is the perfect storm. Poor living conditions, people who shouldn't be parents, hyper kids because they haven't been taught proper, proper etiquette and things like that. But the living conditions, when we talk about it, is just so bad. The living conditions are terrible. And now we don't know the screams. We're talking about the screams now. Are the screams founded or unfounded? What we do know, Sandy, is that everything that Dawn Wells has said that is key in this investigation is now, at about 3 weeks ago, refuted by Ronnie Lawson. Not one thing that he said was backed up by Ronnie Lawson. That is new. That's very new. Ronnie Lawson had never said peep about it. But do you think that Ronnie Lawson didn't know what he was doing when he said that the scream was unfounded, that the dogs picked up the scent of the trail, that there's not a lot of now that there's not a lot of traffic, there's they don't have a ton of missing kids from that specific area. I hear now that there may be 2 more as of tonight, and I really hope that gets taken care of fast. So now we do have other stuff. What we have is Ronnie Lawson putting pressure on Dawn, saying, guess what? What you're saying, Dawn, that's just not the case. That's not how I see it. That's not how I see it, Dawn. When we talk about a perfect storm, we're not talking about anything good. The perfect storm was for somebody in that house. There was going to be something terrible that happened with that family. That's what was going to happen. Something already terrible did happen 10 years ago. Another missing person. What are the odds? What are the odds of that? It's not good. What are the odds? Ben Hill Road was a ticking time bomb. I don't know what happened there, and neither do you. We all have our assumptions, but something did happen there. And it was either directly or indirectly the parents' fault, i.e., indirectly bringing in unscrupulous, people in front of their children, exposing their children to such things as drug use, foul language, strangers. Strangers. I wouldn't want a stranger around any of them. I don't want to be around a stranger myself. But you're bringing and don't tell me for a second that they didn't bring their drug addict friends there. Jose, I'm sure that guy has just a beautiful track record. I'm not saying he's involved in this. I don't know. But they brought people to that house and then on top of that, the living situation not being good, on top of the living situation not being good, the house was a death trap. The property was a death trap. Yeah. I just don't know. I don't know what they expected to happen. There was a reason CPS was on their ass, and I get it. You know, people say, well, CPS failed them, PBS failed them. Yeah, I guess. I'm sure. But parents really failed them. The parents really failed them. And it's just. That's what happens. That's what happens when you don't. Children are hard enough to take care of in a safe environment. They are. It's just difficult. It is what it is. It's tough. Yeah. It's a hard job. And some people just aren't up for it. But they just keep having kids and oh yeah, we'll just have kids. They'll just come along for the ride. The pathetic train to disgustingness town population, Dawn and Candace. Of course, you got to tote your kids along for the ride when, in fact, you shouldn't have kids. It bothers me that people have children that shouldn't. And through no fault of the child's own, they are in for a life, at least a childhood of neglect and abuse. And, you know, I always wondered what it would be like if I was raised by my father who committed violent acts against others. When I say raised by him, my whole life, I spent very little time with him, but the first few years of my life were nothing special. In fact, they were downright terrible. And unfortunately, my mom paid the ultimate price. And because of her, I was able to be raised somewhat normal because I was never going to be raised normal by that kind of a person. I was never going to be raised proper. My life, my view of the world would have been much different. My trajectory would have been much different had I been raised by him. And so my mother is the hero in this. And unfortunately, Summer Wells more than likely has lost her life. But that was the grenade that blew that family apart and exposed all kinds of just nastiness. All kinds of just nasty behavior. Josh, nothing happened at that house. What are you talking about? Nothing happened at that house. Everything happened at that house. You think that Summer only experienced that one day swimming? I'm not talking about the day that you believe that she passed away. I'm talking about her whole life. Nothing ever happened at that house. Everything happened at that house. Okay, a 6-year-old girl and a 7-month-old boy siblings from Sullivan County, Tennessee. Does anyone have any information? Anything might be? No. I haven't seen anything. I haven't seen anything. Nothing happened at that house. Well, maybe not that day. Maybe not that day. Maybe she didn't die in that house. Maybe she did. But either way, that house was not good. That's all there is to it. That's all there is to it. It's tragic, you guys. And then all the horse crap in between has very little, if almost nothing, to do with finding Summer. You want to come up and talk on YouTube, then get your ass up on YouTube and talk about where your daughter is. Don't give us half-cocked theories. Don't give us your dark web. Nobody's buying it. And if the behavioral panel and Dr. Phil buy it, I could care less. I could care less. You want to come on and talk, brother? Come on and talk. But what you're going to do is you're going to tell us where Summer is. And that's the only reason to talk to you, because everything else is just you trying to get us to feel sorry for you. And nobody feels sorry for you anymore, Don. Nobody feels sorry for you anymore. That ship has sailed. You'd have to be medicated. I mean, I heard that. Yeah, probably. I mean, wouldn't surprise me. Why would you want to? Why would you want like it's just, why would you want to look like an a-hole after the fact? Oh, I believe you guys. And then you go, what the hell? What did I just see on YouTube? Didn't we just tell these people to behave, knock it off, tell you don't talk about the show? Don't talk about this. Don't talk about that. They don't give a damn about Don and Candace's episode. They have 300 episodes backlogged. Don't care about that. And it says even if he wants to claim he was just a kid and didn't know better, he didn't learn his lesson after the first, second time, etc. Correct. And it's not just his evil stepsisters. Remember, there are others out there. There are others out there. Sorry that it got brought up, Don. Sorry that you got to defend yourself, Don. Sorry that you're looking past what's going on with your daughter and your future court date in Utah. If you're not going to tell us where Summer is, then I hope you get locked up the rest of your life for that other stuff, that other terrible stuff. Do I think LE will arrest soon? I don't know. I don't know. We're just speculating. I hope so. I mean, let's get some answers, you know? Let's get some answers. Put the screws to them. They have enough. They have what I mean, not in Summer's case. I don't know what they have, but he's violated probation enough, violated gag orders enough. I mean, he's probably going to get to hang on to his license, it seems like, at least to go to work, which is unbelievable. Seems like to me, and this is just how I feel about it. And once again, Sheriff Lawson, if you ever watch any of this, it seems like you're doing a better job of keeping him out of jail. That's just my opinion, but maybe you have something in the works. I hope so. Seems like you're doing a better job of keeping him out of jail. Good night, Doug. Take care, buddy. And that is what us as bystanders are scratching our head going, why would you do that? Arrested twice in 2 days and released, and he doesn't have to be back in court until February. Enjoy Christmas, Thanksgiving, and New Year's. But I have to believe that, yes, I have to believe that something's coming. I would hope so. I don't know. I don't know for a fact, obviously, but there's a million different ways that he could have been violated and thrown in the slammer. Once again, though, I'm not law enforcement, so maybe, maybe Chris Flower says his court dates are around her birthday too. Well, he wouldn't know when that is, so you'd still have to tell him. How beautiful. That's good. It's brand new. Nice and shiny floors. Nice and shiny floors. Remember, Candace is going down because she doesn't have an alibi. Candace is going down because she doesn't have an alibi, says the vulnerable narcissist. It really, really, really bothers me and you that this man seems to operate with impunity. I don't understand it. I don't understand it. Makes no sense. Just like a lot of things in this case don't make sense. But Don isn't worried about where his daughter is. Don and Candace both are worried about their own future and the safety of their own future. Am I going to be locked up the rest of my life or not? Because summer ain't coming home and we know it. I wish that she was alive. I mean, I hope she's alive, but I mean, let's just be real about it. That child deserves a proper send off if she is in fact perished. And you dirty rat bastards are going to deny her right because you want to spend the rest of your days drinking and smoking and talking shit and living a useless life. Shame on you. It's not about being perfect. It's not about being better than anybody. It's not about It's about doing the right thing. The wrong thing has been done, but the right thing needs to happen. That baby had a right to live and prosper and grow in a healthy way. And somebody took that from her. Because we sure as hell haven't seen her. Sounds like you haven't either. But where is she? What'd you do with her? Kids don't like to be thrown away as trash, treated like trash, or spoken to like trash. Oren and Orson are they're not trash either. Sure treated like it. How do you guys rest? How do you rest at night when you don't know what happened to your daughter? The reason you rest at night is because you do know. And there's no reason to look. You could take us right to where she is. Forget your life. Forget your future. You're done. It's over. 57 years, man. You had a great run. You did a lot of bullshit, and you got away with a lot. You should just tell us where your daughter is and be for the best, you know. Natalee Holloway's mother is still looking for her daughter. Still. I saw somebody in the chat talking about it as well. That it makes them sick every day. We shouldn't have to worry about your kids more than you do, but yet we do. Everybody that's in here wants to know what happened to Summer. Everybody in here wants to know. And you think that it's none of our business, right? That's what it is. You think it's none of our business. She's your daughter. It's your business what happens to her. It's not our business, but out. That's what you think, right? That's what you think. And don't act like it's not. It's not our business, according to you. That is how you feel. It's not just about we're talking about a certain individual, a certain young lady. Her name is Summer Wells. But to me, Summer represents more than just herself. She represents all of us. We were all young kids. We were all vulnerable at one point in our lives. And somehow through the grace of God or our parents and or both, we're here today talking about it. But we needed help to get there. And she didn't get that help that she needed. Share something here because show you this. Here's her name. Bear with me just 1 second. And I'm not really sure how to pronounce her name. Joshia. Let's see what this has to say here.
Exploited children website. Josiah Moore's poster has now been added to the National Center for Missing and Exploited Children website. The teen's mother told me she was taking an FBI polygraph today, something agents called a formality.
If you see Josiah, if you hear or overhear someone talking about Josiah, please contact us.
Another briefing from East Orange Police and the mayor as FBI agents and cops turned up at the door of this house on Amherst Street, which is where Josiah Moore was living until October 14th. They wanted to question the older man who rents here, a close family friend who allowed the teen to stay there with her mother and little brother.
They have really been taking aggressive initiative around our city.
Josiah Moore's mother told us she took her children to live with a friend on Amherst Street after a domestic violence incident last year involving her estranged husband, an East Orange police officer.
We do not suspect foul play at this point.
But police and the FBI, joined by the Essex County Sheriff's Office, expanded the scope of the investigation, searching a pond this past weekend in East Orange. Agents interviewed mom Jamie Moore for 2 hours Monday before asking for a DNA swab and requesting the polygraph test. Moore told Pix 11 News she understood it was part of their job, but said she was upset about East Orange cops who took a deactivated iPhone in her house. The FBI also removed toothbrushes, she said. It's been nearly 4 weeks since Josiah's mother told police her daughter disappeared after a trip to the deli. The mom's first interview was choked with emotion.
Like, we watch movies about stuff like this happening on Netflix. I never thought nothing like this would happen to me, Mom.
The teen's mother told me she's been trying to raise money on GoFundMe to...
I don't know what happened, but I know that 14-year-old girl's missing, 5-year-olds missing, 2 and 3 or 3 and 4-year-olds missing. There's kids missing everywhere. And it's heavy. I hope that she's found alive. 14 years old. Thank you. Thanks for tuning in to the lab, to a roll call. I love you guys very much for tuning in. It's just, you guys are awesome. Thank you for the super chats and just everything that you guys do for me. Show up and listen to me talk and ramble, and I hope that you got something out of tonight. It's roll call.